Hello, and welcome to a Patreon exclusive episode of Allegedly Astrology, where we break down the astrology that happened during some of the biggest scandals and events in history. Dana, what are we covering on this episode?
Today we're covering Sydney Sweeney.
Yes, and Sydney Sweeney. Sweeney Sweeney is an American actress and producer, best known for her performances in Euphoria and season 1 of The White Lotus, both of which earned her nominations for Emmy Awards. She's also a brand ambassador for Armani Beauty and is most recently facing controversy for her American Eagle ad about her good genes. So, let me tell you a little bit about her. She was born in the Idaho Panhandle on a rural lakeside home with her brother, mom, and dad. I really thought she was like a Nepo or like a rich girl. I guess there are rich people in Idaho.
From my understanding, she's not, but maybe she has like a family member.
I don't know.
Let's find, let's
Anyway.
do this in real time. Sweeney,
Rich parent.
her father is a hospitality professional and her mother was a criminal defense lawyer. So probably not poor parents.
But definitely not Nepo. Anyway, she played a lot of sports growing up and considered herself a nerd. I'm putting that in quotes because I feel like that's like a popular thing for hot girls to say.
Yeah.
But eventually she
I'm a
would become the
nerd.
valedictorian of her high school. She went to UCLA for a hot sec. So Dana, tell us about her chart and her big three.
Okay, so Sydney was born on September 12th, 1997 at 12:42 p.m. in Spokane, Washington, and she has a Virgo sun, a Capricorn moon, and a Scorpio rising. She also has her Mercury domicile and exalted in Virgo, her Venus detriment in Scorpio, her Mars domicile in Scorpio, her Jupiter in Aquarius, and her Saturn in fall in Aries. So Virgo is her Virgo sun. Virgo's named after the Virgin, which, evokes sexual themes. Virgo suns are mercurial, intellectual, obsessive, tactile, eager to please, very thorough and detail oriented, and have a really good critical eye. And her sun is ruled by her domicile and exalted Mercury in Virgo, which is stationary. It's stationed direct 2 days before she was born. So that's like an extremely powerful Mercury. And it really isn't surprising to me that she was valedictorian, just based on this alone, but also with the rest of her chart. Her sun's in the 11th house, which makes her a people person, and she thrives in front of an audience, right? And her sun is conjunct the midheaven, which is the point of career. So truly, like when she was born, a star was born.
A Star is Born vibes.
ASIB. And her sun's conjunct the north node. So she's born during eclipse season, which gives her extreme circumstances in life. And just like the sun conjunct the north node on the midheaven, she's born to be a star. And her sun trines her moon. So she's a mind-body connection. It flows pretty easily. And her sun sextiles her natal Mars. So a little effort from her goes a long way. Her moon in Capricorn means that her emotions are oriented towards consequence. And she doesn't need a lot to run effectively. I feel like, I don't remember where or when I saw this, but I saw that she said that she only needs like 3 hours of sleep a night.
Whoa.
I remember where, because people were comparing her to Dakota Johnson, famous Nepo baby, who said she likes 14 hours of sleep a night.
Right.
Yeah, and they were like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
So Moon in Capricorn, I wonder if there's not daddy issues, but complicated emotions regarding father figures.
Yeah, or her mother. Her mom is a criminal defense attorney, which is very like Moon in
That's
Capricorn.
true.
Also, like just facts before feelings. Her mother could have been stern or hard to access emotionally, or maybe she taught her that hard work and success are like the most important things in life. Her moon is ruled by Saturn in fallen Aries. So she's like, again, the Energizer bunny. It's very important for her to stay in good health, which it seems like she is very healthy. She, works out and I'm sure has a healthy diet. I don't know. But her Saturn in Aries in her 6th house, that could be a theme of her Saturn return, could be something related to health, maybe needing to slow down. But with Saturn in Aries ruling the moon, which is the body, it's important, of course, that she stays as healthy as she can. And then her moon rejoices in the 3rd house. So even though it's in detriment, it's in the 3rd house where it loves to be, which the moon in the 3rd house is a very present moon. That's why it rejoices there. And she's in touch with her surroundings. And then she has her Scorpio rising. So she's shrouded in mystery. She's good at deflecting in order to protect her personal life. So someone could ask her a question and she could answer, coyly and not ever answer the question. She definitely has a strong willpower, probably extreme emotions that we never get to see. She's probably a great detective, definitely assertive when necessary, and never says more than she needs to. Rarely even says that much. And just Scorpio rising, like this is her personality. Scorpios are bubbly and intense, and her rising's ruled by Mars domicile in Scorpio, so she's a ninja. She's a really great like focus, especially, when she has like an intention, she can just really hone in and she can direct her obsessions towards like a concrete goal. And she has Venus conjunct her Chiron in the first house, which could be pain in love. I'll definitely get more of this later, but it's definitely having issues related to Venus issues. So it could be problems with other women, which I mean, I think she probably has. I feel like not to stereotype. I mean, I do think she said that it was hard for her to that actually could just be problems with her, like, with beauty in general. Because I do remember,
Mhm.
like, a New York Post headline that was like, "Sydney Sweeney developed early and it was tough for her," which, like, I believe that, not hard to believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
Right. Well, she got the acting bug after she was extra in an independent film. And I feel like this goes back to her Capricorn moon of like having difficult mother or father. In order to convince her parents to allow her to pursue acting, she presented them with a 5-year business plan.
God, she's so cool.
So clearly, success was important in their family.
It's so
Um,
funny.
and she eventually convinces the family to move to LA when she's 13 to pursue her acting career.
Good for her.
And I guess it wasn't like super easy. Like they were living in a hotel and her parents had to give up some of their career stuff. So definitely paid. She started getting roles, though, on 90210, Criminal Minds, Grey's Anatomy, and Pretty Little Liars, and everything kind of changed when she would star in the 2018 Netflix series Everything Sucks, and then she appeared in the HBO miniseries Sharp Objects. But
I
of
love
course,
that show. That show was so good.
her full breakout role was Euphoria. Do you watch Euphoria?
Yes, I love it.
I do not.
It's pretty good.
I feel like it's weird that it's just so long between filming. They're all like well into their
It's
20s.
very it is really I don't understand why they would do that. They have a hit show on their hands.
Yeah,
They clearly were able to put out one of them during COVID, like peak COVID.
yeah. I
It
just
premiered
maybe
the
everyone
beginning of,
just
like,
got too
2022.
famous,
That's
too many
probably part of it.
scheduling.
If you have a show that's that popular, wouldn't you be on the ball for, like, scheduling all of that? I don't know.
Mhm. But anyway, she plays Cassie Howard, a teenager with a promiscuous reputation. She also got a nomination for an Emmy for supporting actress in a drama series. So, what was going on in her chart when Euphoria debuted?
Euphoria debuted on June 16th, 2019 at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I did the chart for New York, and this chart has a Gemini sun, a Sagittarius moon, and a Capricorn rising. So it's a full moon, sun opposite, sun in Sagittarius, or sun in Gemini opposite moon in Sag. And it's a full moon in the 12th house, and the moon's conjunct Jupiter, which rules the moon. So a full moon conjunct Jupiter is big feelings, like spotlight on feelings. And Sagittarius, it loves to party and like to be seen and to be loud. But in the 12th house, it's isolated. And the 12th house is, of course, one of the houses where we can see where like we're prone to addictive tendencies, or we can,
Isn't that like part of the show, drugs and stuff?
it's the part of the show. It's the
It's
show.
the show. I feel
It's
like I don't know
oh
anything
my god.
about it. It's like,
Yeah, Euphoria. It's like drug
uh,
euphoria.
drug euphoria. Got it. Got it.
And then the rising in Capricorn is conjunct Saturn, the South Node, and Pluto. So Saturn, of course, lends us seriously. The South Node's about staying where you are. I was talking to our friend about the nodes because she was worried about South Node synastry. And I don't think like the South Node is, you know, bad or like our past life and the North Nodes are this life. I don't think that they're not, but looking at what the nodes look like, the South Node looks like a hammock or like a chair. The little glyph is like an upside down horseshoe. So with the South Node, I really feel like this lends itself to wanting to be cradled in comfort, like having a hard time moving and wanting to stay where you are. And then Pluto's intense transformation. So like those things are so at odds with each other. This was also 4 days before Neptune stationed retrograde in Pisces. Neptune is, of course, related to addiction and intoxication, and Pisces is too. And then looking at these transits around Sydney's chart, Neptune was conjunct her South Node and IC in her fifth house. So she's playing a role on a series about high school drug use. Maybe she was able to pull from personal experiences and anecdotes from her high school experiences or from, people she knew, like cousins, friends. And the North Node in Cancer was with Mars and Mercury in her ninth house of idols. And Cassie in Euphoria is like so, 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 so Cancer. Mars is sex, Mercury is conversation, the North Node is increase, Cancer is breasts. And this literally reflects her, her breast being what she's known for. This was the show that
Yep.
put her on the map for that. And Pluto was conjunct her moon, which also reflects getting objectified for her body, but recognizing too that her body can be used to gain power. So there's always a trade off, but with a moon in Capricorn, she's going to make it work in her favor. And then just sort of looking also at her 2018 solar return and transits, she was in a 10th house Leo year. So the 10th house is career and visibility. Leo is a sign of the celebrity. It's ruled by the sun. So the sun was her time lord. And in her solar return, the North Node was in Leo. So that's a year where there's going to be a lot of activity around her career. And since it's the highlighted sign in the chart, it activates it even further. So, and then her natal sun is conjunct her North Node and midheaven in her 11th house. So we get a lot of North Node activation, a lot of sun activation. And then her solar return sun was in her solar return 10th house, which underscores the theme of career. Also interesting is that the moon was exactly conjunct her solar return ascendant in Sagittarius in her natal second house of income at the time of the premiere, which is just fascinating to me to be quite honest. Hmm. Hmm.
Fascinating. All right. So, like Dana mentioned, Sydney is known for her looks, especially her boobies. She's a hottie. She's been called the most beautiful woman in the world. Sydney called the obsession with her appearance this weird relationship that people have with me that I have no control over. What does she have no control? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
But is there anything in her chart that would show she'd be a sex symbol, Dana?
Oh, yeah. So she has Venus and Scorpio in her first house, and Venus in the first house is magnetic. It attracts with beauty, but it's in Scorpio where it's a detriment, right? So it's intentional with what it attracts. It wants to attract certain things. I feel like she must have. I strongly feel like she realized that she couldn't get around the attention she received, so she figured out she might as well control what she, like use it to her benefit, right? Make money off of it if you can't control it. Her Venus is tightly conjunct Chiron in Scorpio, and so that's really intensifies things. I feel like people probably, I mean, it probably makes it hard for her. Like she definitely, I'm sure, has trauma around like their looks or love or attraction or the attention she gets for her looks. But also, people will project their wounds onto her, either rivals or people who perceive her as a rival will do that, or people who are attracted to her will make her sort of like this idol who will save them kind of thing, I think. And we had Mars and Scorpio to the mix, like just major sex appeal. She has Venus, Mars, and Chiron all in her first house. She's just sort of like this is very much like sex icon. And then she has Sun conjunct her midheaven with the North Node, so that makes her a star. And like in Virgo, the Sun, it's a sign of the Virgin, which again evokes sexuality. And then finally, her lot of spirit is in Cancer in her ninth house. So this sort of answers the question of like her not having control over, her like, how people
Mm,
interact with her looks because the lot of spirit is, like, free will. Our lot of fortune is fate, and then spirit is, like, what we can do with everything, like, our free will. So,
right.
her lot of spirit in Cancer, it corresponds with the breasts and the ninth
Cancer
house.
is the mother.
Right,
What do the mothers have? The breast.
the milk, and the ninth house is idols. So, she's able to harness the power of her boobs to make herself an idol, and yeah, I feel like she's also said before, like, she is trying to make money. Like, she's here to make money.
Right. And I feel like now the more we know about her upbringing and stuff, I feel like she's like, I want to make this worth it for my family because they gave up a lot for me to live my dreams. And so I feel like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do feel like she's going to get really good roles and she has already, but she's also like, let me make that bread.
See, let me make that bread.
Let me make that bread.
Okay. You done?
Okay.
Okay.
So before we all knew it, Sydney Sweeney was literally everywhere. She had partnerships with Ford. There was a partnership with Dr. Squatch, which was
What?
like, I don't know what it is, but it was a soap a limited edition soap line containing her bathwater.
I feel like she said that she'll take anything because she wants to make as much money as she can. And
Did
I
she
feel
say that?
yeah, and I also feel like she probably I bet her appearance limits her brand deals, right?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm really
at
not
least in the
sure.
beginning, I think probably because, like, she had, like, sort of, I mean, I know Laneige is trendy, but, like, she had, like, a Laneige it just sort of seemed like a lot of
Yeah,
strange deals when she's truly
interesting.
I don't know, like, I think her face is so interesting. She has senpaku eyes, which are cool.
But the most attention grabbing campaign of late is her American Eagle ad, where she was featured in a campaign called Sydney Sweeney Has Great Jeans, like Jeans, like blue jeans, like denim. But there's a big blowback from people that sort of say, she's blonde, she has blue eyes. It's like sort of a callback to eugenics. And is this what America refers to as great genes, Genes? So genes and genes, we get it, but, I think it's meant to be slightly controversial, but it wasn't maybe meant to be as controversial as it was. So what was going on when this ad debuted, Dana?
So this was July 23rd, 2025, and it was posted on YouTube at 6 a.m. Eastern. So that's the chart I'm doing it for. And this chart has a Leo sun and rising and a Cancer moon. So the sun is domicile, the moon is domicile. Leo is the star. Again, the moon is the breast, and the moon is with Jupiter, where it's, you know, amplifies things. And she has, I mean, it's also all about her, like, blue eyes, I think it said, two blue eyes, blue jeans or something. The moon's also in the 12th house of this chart, which I think shows being unfairly demonized. And I guess it's not really hidden enemies because they're making themselves pretty clearly known. And Mercury is retrograde in the first house in Leo. So there's a lot of discourse about this ad. Mercury retrograde really amps up the discourse, and perhaps it's not going as expected. I'm not sure. A lot of brands do have, they have astrologers. So I'm told.
Doubtful. Who told you that?
When I did an episode a long time ago with someone, they said that a lot of, but I think it might have been tech companies. I'm not positive.
Interesting.
And this chart also has Mars conjunct the South Node in Virgo in the second house, which could be baking off antagonism. Pluto in Aquarius is conjunct the Descendant, which makes it very polarizing. And then, I mean, Mercury stationed retrograde 5 days earlier. So Mercury retrograde in general, not when I would launch a campaign, and especially not near the Mercury retrograde dates. And then Sydney's transits were just, like, very ripe for backlash. So it's her nodal opposition, and the South Node was conjunct her midheaven and Sun. So the nodes are eclipse points that mark fated events. The nodal opposition is the transit that corresponds to the 27 club. It happens at the age of 27, give or take a few months. And it's when we get totally knocked off the path we thought we were on. So it's a wild prelude to the Saturn return, really. The South Node can show what's being phased out or downtrending in society, and the transiting South Node, conjunct her Sun, and midheaven can show negative publicity, maybe like a faded career choice. And then Mars in Virgo was conjunct the South Node, and that perfected on July 20th. So adding that transiting Mars to the mix makes it even more loaded because Mars severs and subtracts. It's pitting people against each other, going Mars is the planet of war. Mars is also her chart ruler, so it puts her front and center. And, like, with the South Node, it's, I don't know, I think that a lot of people had really good points because eugenics is, like, a huge online thing. Um,
Mhm.
but I also think it was an opportunity for people who wanted to take her down to do so.
Yeah. I feel like Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's more on the brand than it is on her, but
Truly,
also,
she's making money.
yeah,
I mean, I totally agree that this was, like, a tasteless and weird ad, I guess,
definitely.
but
I do know that when people say they have good genes, especially if they're white and skinny, it does rile things up in people. Like, I do remember an influencer that I follow got briefly canceled when, like, she answered a Q&A. They're like, "How do you stay so skinny? Like, when all you do is eat chicken fingers and drink Diet Cokes." And she was like, "Honestly, just good genes. Like, I don't really do much. Like, I'm not trying to lie to you guys." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I appreciate her honesty." But then everyone was like, backlash, like, "Oh, so my genes are bad." And like, it was a weird,
I feel like
I didn't give it a second thought,
yeah,
but I was like, "Oh, wow, I guess you have to appreciate." other people's sides of like, if you're saying but I don't think when people are saying something is good, it always means something else is bad, but maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my one of my favorite skincare products is Good Genes by Sunday Riley, and it
Oh,
honestly
yes.
is
It's like a
very
whole
effective.
brand.
No, it's just Sunday Riley, and then the product's Good Genes,
Oh,
but it's very good. Oh, yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's a whole, like, line of their brand.
I think there's a whole line of good
Yeah, no,
jeans.
my bad. I'm sorry.
You should be.
But yeah, so, I mean, it's just also what was kind of weird was a few days later, Dunkin' came out with an ad, which was, like, a brown-haired, like, a white brunette teenage-ish boy in, like, a hot tub talking about his good genes, which was weird.
Hmm.
So, I don't know if they,
Why is
like
everyone obsessed with good jeans?
I know, it's very strange. But back to Sydney, her progressed IC was conjunct her natal Saturn and Aries. So even though she's making money, she's still subjugated. Again, the sixth house is her Saturn's in her sixth house. The sixth house is subjugation. So yeah, she's still subjugated to brands who use her to maybe polarize the public, or the public polarizes, uses her to polarize themselves. I don't know. She also may have lost other deals from this ad, or maybe gained more deals with the same with brands that want to like achieve the same goal, right? Like, 'cause
Being
truly,
controversial.
like, I don't yeah, and then just looking at her solar return, so she's in a 4th house Aquarius Saturn year. 4th house is about endings and private life, and Aquarius is the populace, so people really, getting in people were, like, looking up her, like, voting records or something, I think. Like, they were like, "She's a registered Republican," which, like, I mean, she looked
Is
like one.
she?
I don't know, I didn't look it up, I just
Hmm.
this was hearsay from on my who had a really funny few, like, aggregated memes about it on her Instagram, who I have definitely name dropped before, who I love, neoliberal hell, it's one word on
Oh
Instagram.
my
She's
god,
so
yes,
funny.
you do love that.
But yeah, so she's in her second Saturn year. Saturn ruled years put us through trials and tribulations. Her natal Saturn is in Aries in her sixth house of work and subjugation. So again, work is highlighted. And since we're at the beginning of Saturn in Aries, it's the beginning of her Saturn return. It's possible this is a sample of what her Saturn return will be like for her, but there's a lot going on in general. I mean, also Venus, transiting Venus was conjunct her solar return Jupiter in Gemini, but it's in her natal 8th house, which to me says like it's like getting money, but like you don't really have control over like the image or like what's being well, it's also in the solar return 12th house. Interesting. So yeah, so not necessarily having control. Also, her ascendant was conjunct her solar return ascendant was conjunct her natal out of spirit. So it does show like making some free will decisions. Then Uranus was conjunct her natal descendant, which shows like maybe surprising, like polarizing people for surprising reasons. I doubt she's on Twitter very much, unless her like family is, because I remember her family had some sort of like Trump themed party or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like her mom's birthday party, and there were some guests
Yeah.
wearing like MAGA hats.
Right. I don't mean to demonize anyone ever, but I'm known to never demonize anyone. But Spokane, Washington, there's a comedy club there, and a lot of comedians have said that that's like the most racist club, like in America.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
Wow.
don't know. So again, not saying she's a racist or anything. I'm just saying whatever she was raised around probably isn't,
Yeah.
a coastal elite lib city.
Yeah. Well, so a lot of people also took issue with the campaign, besides the Nazi propaganda part of it, was that it was very catery to the male gaze. Like, okay, sex sells. That's not a new thing. But this is a callback to Brooke Shields' controversial 1980 Calvin Klein jeans ad. And this is actually kind of icky. So, Brooke Shields did this ad. Calvin Klein's tagline is like, "You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing." Kind of like, I'm not wearing any underwear.
Uh,
But
she was like a child.
she was only 15 at the time
Boy.
that the ad came out.
I watched a
So
show, a movie with her. I think it was called like Pretty Baby, where she's a child prostitute, and she does a great
oh
job.
god,
She is so impressive for someone who was clearly
clearly,
so
yes.
like
Yeah,
handled.
yeah. And, the campaign is credited with solidifying Calvin Klein's place in the denim market at the time, but some networks like CBS and ABC refused to air the commercials. So let's check out the synergy between these two controversial
Wait,
campaigns.
it's also funny that in 1980, this premiered in November 1980, it was banned by CBS on November 19th, 1980, that, like, not wearing underwear under your jeans was, like, so scandalous, you know?
I know, but I feel like it's less that, but it's more
That
like
she
that
was,
it
like, a
was a
sexy baby. Yeah.
16-year-old child. Like, no, 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 no. Big no, no.
So there are some similarities between Brooke and Sydney that are maybe worth pointing out. So Brooke Shields was born May 31st, 1965 at 1:45 p.m. in Manhattan, and she has a Gemini sun and moon. She was also born on an eclipse, similar to Sydney, and a Virgo rising. So she has Mars in her first house, just like Sydney, so they're getting sexualized. And then they both have the North Node and the Sun on their midheaven. So they're like born to be stars and just, I guess, really sort of, I don't know, getting talked about a lot. Maybe that has something to do with their midheavens and suns being ruled by and north nodes being ruled by Mercury, since Brooke Shields is all Gemini and Sydney's Virgo. But both Brooke and Sydney were in fourth house years when the ads were released, which is just interesting. The fourth house is like private. And it is like these ads are sort of supposed to like evoke like private, right? Like, isn't they're like, I don't know, they're nothing's between you and your Calvins, which is,
Mm.
you're private.
It's actually funny because I saw something on Astro Reddit recently that was like, can somebody help me understand why I'm so sexualized, like, through the lens of astrology?
Yeah.
And this person was like, I feel like I'm never taken seriously in
Oh,
spite of feeling like I have more to offer. People act like I'm going out of my way to seduce them.
so
Like,
weird.
it's been a common theme since my teenage years. And everyone is responding like basically Mars,
On your ascendant?
Venus in the first.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I hope that person is able to maybe make money off of it as well, because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So then just comparing the 2, like, the ads, both chart like, the one thing that I thought was pretty significant is that both charts feature Neptune conjunct a malefic. So Sydney's ad was released during Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries, and Brooke's ad was released during a Mars Neptune conjunction in Sagittarius. So also both fire signs. And just with Neptune, I think it has like it proliferates sort of, these ads. It makes them maybe a little bit more like bigger than they really ever really maybe would be in any other era. And it's negative with the malefic. So it's negative attention. And Brooke's ad, this is also interesting. Brooks' ad, and so in 1980, the North Node was in Leo, and it's at 14 degrees, and in Sydney's ad, the Mercury retrograde is at 14 degrees Leo, so they're both about, like, celebrity. Honestly, Mercury retrograde in Leo, it's sort of harkening back maybe to Brooks' denim ad, and maybe 14 degrees Leo could be something to sort of look at for, I don't know, sexualized media, or it's not, like, necessarily polarizing since it's ruled by the sun, but it is intense. So,
But
yeah.
it's like what is Neptune? I feel like is what delusion or like,
Delusion, intoxication,
but just like people, I feel like interpreting things the
spirituality.
wrong way, or
Yeah,
just in
definitely
a way
could be that.
that's not necessarily how it was intended or something.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, it could be, like, leaking or spreading, right?
Right.
So I don't really know much about American Eagle, and I don't really know much about, like, how brands do things, but one of my first inclinations was, like, honestly, that totally, totally tracked to me, like, yeah, that does seem like
Mm.
eugenics. Did you ever, like, laminate crayons in grade school? Like, color something with a crayon and then laminate it so it melted and sort of looked like tie-dye-ish? That's what
Yes.
I think of as Neptune. It's interesting because I feel like maybe it has something to do with getting attention that I mean, they're getting paid for it, but otherwise maybe you wouldn't want. I don't know. Because it just seems weird to me. Like, why would Sydney I mean, certainly why Brooke would is, like, too young to even choose, but, like, I doubt Sydney
Mm.
Sweeney would want this attention unless
Yeah.
she's getting paid for it. So hopefully she's being paid handsomely.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what's next for Sydney Sweeney. She has a really interesting upcoming role where she will produce and star in a movie called Christy, a biopic about boxer Christy Martin. who I don't know much about, but I just did a quick Wikipedia, and she had a really crazy ass life.
This boxing woman.
So I bet it's gonna be a crazy movie, but
Interesting.
maybe we'll do a little episode on her. But yeah,
She's
crazy, crazy stories in this. So that movie is gonna be wild.
also The Housemaid. Did you read that
Yes.
book? It's so bad.
No.
It is so bad.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
It's like true. I didn't know anything about Frida McFadden when I cracked it,
Mm,
and she like writes like 18 books a year for Amazon,
yeah.
but I
Yeah.
just randomly read it. And it was like
Like, I'm
I read
honestly
it all
like,
in one day.
I
Like I
wonder if
have to
she's
read
like,
books like that, but it's
I
so
wonder if
insane.
she's like
It's the most insane book.
AI bot or something. She does seem kind of not
I've wondered
real.
that too. That was my first inclination after I saw how many books per year she puts out. But it also, I
Yeah.
guess it could be formulaic. I don't know. Either way, I
Yes.
was just like, the book is so fucking
All
funny.
of her books start with the.
The
So,
the
the
housemaid.
boyfriend, the teacher, the inmate,
I think the
the
housemaid's a whole
coworker.
series. So maybe
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
but yeah, I guess from what I remember, Sydney will probably be good at that. She was really not good in the movie Echo Valley with
I did
Julianne
not see
Moore.
that.
It's not good. It's on Apple TV.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's do a little bit of
predict.
predictions for Sydney besides, like obviously she's got, her 27 club year, which is the precursor to the Saturn return. How do you think the Saturn return is going to treat her? Obviously, she just got out of a long-term relationship. I'm
I
curious
think
to
she's gonna
see
get
what
back
how the
into a
dating.
relationship.
Cool.
So on September 12th, 2025, she'll turn 28. She'll enter her 5th house Pisces Jupiter year, which ends her 2 years of Saturn years, which of course it'll be during her Saturn returns. And so that's, not easy, but the 5th house Jupiter year, it'll be sweeter. She'll have Jupiter exalted in Cancer in her 9th house. And her natal Pisces placements are her IC and South node. So maybe getting comfortable with something. Maybe it'll be like a passion project she's always wanted to pursue. Her solar return Pisces is placements are her descendant in the solar return. So the descendant, the solar return descendant being in the perfected sign is often an indicator that someone will have a big relationship year. So there's that. And then her natal Jupiter is in Aquarius in her 4th house. So 4th house will still be in the mix for this, but I don't know. I think she's going to get into a significant relationship and maybe move for the relationship. She has her Mars return on October 19th, 2025. Mars will be conjunct Mercury. This is maybe she'll be speaking out. It seems empowering either way, but maybe some sort of like finding her voice or maybe using it more intently. And then Uranus is conjunct her descendant also again on December 7th, 2025 and March 31st, 2026. So that could be surprising, I don't know, responses from the public or surprising, like relationship news. On March 2nd, 2026, her progressed Venus in Sagittarius versus her natal Mercury in Virgo. So this, I think, could be announcing a new business venture or some sort of partner, like brand partnership. On April 5th, 2026, her progressed Moon is conjunct her progressed Jupiter. This is good news, and it could be something personal, but I think it could also be something shared. On June 2nd, 2026, the South Node's conjunct her natal Mercury in Virgo. So this could be like some sort of like career hit out of her control. I mean, it could also be her really getting good publicity for like an outstanding role, I guess. But it could also be like,
Do you think this is like Oscar?
I don't know about that. Would have to maybe look at the 2026 solar return, which I didn't.
Mhm.
But then on July 25th, 2026, her progressed Mercury and Saturn are opposed. So this could be like critical reviews or like a very, I guess, critical partnership. It could be a brand deal, news about a brand deal, maybe breaking one, or maybe a very serious one. August 13th, 2026 is her progressed Venus Pluto conjunction. So this is, I think, probably a huge payday. And then 2027 definitely looks intense. So her Saturn return perfects on April 17th, 2027. And a few months earlier, her progressed Sun in Libra is opposite her natal Saturn in Aries. So it's very Saturnian. Also, 2026, she'll turn 29, and that'll be her 6th house year, which will activate Saturn again for her. So, speaking as someone who also was in a 6th house year during their Saturn return with Saturn natally in the 6th house, that's going to be intense. We might not see it. That could be her needing to slow down, like something related to health, I think. So that's what I really think it could be, like, her either slowing down or, I mean, she's not the same as me or anyone, necessarily with Saturn in the 6th. So it could also be her being really intentional with the projects she chooses and maybe, like, really wanting to take control of them and maybe not doing necessarily not that she'll do, like, poorly, but, I mean, it could be tough, like, I mean, Saturn in Aries could be, like, wanting to do everything yourself, but I don't know, I think she might just get I'm assuming probably she'll always be, like, subject to scrutiny, I should say, but I think I'm interested to see what she does after her Saturn return because I do think she has more power to anyone making money, but I do think she has it in her to make more interesting, I think she has more to contribute, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not like I don't think that she has to play, like, roles that, like, are Amish. I just think that
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
love
I
her
do
as
feel like
Cassie.
this
Cassie is so
I
talented.
do I do feel like this boxing movie is really gonna change things for her because she's basically playing, like, a closeted
Oh,
lesbian
interesting.
boxer woman who, is just like a coal miner's daughter. She has, like, a mullet. It's gonna be an
Well, she
interesting
did she
vibe.
did do that one role, which I didn't watch, Reality Winner on, like, HBO. It was I think,
Oh,
a
yes, I did
limited
not watch
series,
that either.
but it's in
That was,
terms
like,
of,
a
like
based on a true story or something?
yeah, the woman's real name was
Yeah,
Reality Winner.
right, which
Um,
is a crazy.
so, yeah, so if anyone knows Sydney, pass on this information to her.
Yeah, tell her to listen.
Tell her to
We
listen to
feel like
our
the good
podcast.
things are coming for her, but, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. All right, well, that's a wrap on Sydney Sweeney. Thank you guys for listening to this Patreon exclusive episode of Allegedly Astrology. I'm
I'm
Elise,
Dana.
and this is Allegedly
We
Astrology.
love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.